more money than I do, so.
Is she a 5? Is she up to 5 million?
She doesn't have 5 yet. But
Oh man! So how is she feeling?
she feels pretty. She seems extremely excited. Like every day is a new box of stuff. Like I was telling Walt that, usually like I don't get invited to many weddings, but when I do, they usually have like a gift bag and there's like a couple little things in there, like some water and itinerary, whatever. These, I told him, I'm like, these look like something you would get at the fucking Oscars.
Really?
They're like real.
It's like a GoPro in a
baskets. I mean, practically, they're real baskets, and like everything is thought out with like stickers, like hand lotion. She made a special sticker for the hand lotion, and hand sanitizer, and masks, and chips, and cookies, and all kinds of shit, all kinds of stuff. So she's been having a good time doing that.
We were talking a little bit before on air about the complexities of having a wedding in the midst of the current state of the world right now.
Not easy.
Not easy.
No.
Like, what was the decision there?
Well, originally it was supposed to be in Colorado. We were going to do it at the Stanley, the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, where Stephen King wrote The Shining, and I thought that would have been
awesome.
That would have been pretty cool. And then all this shit happened, and I'm like, I don't know that we're going to be able to do this with the flights and everything. And some of the people are a little bit older, parents and shit. So we're like, she's like, okay, I want to do it somewhere around here then. So she just went on Google, found a place she liked, picked there, and we assumed that by August 25th it would be okay, because back in June in Maryland, they're like, groups up to 30 people are okay. So we figure, all right, we'll roll the dice. It's probably not going to they probably won't rule that fewer people than 30 can gather, but if they do, they do, and then we'll just push it.
Oh, wow. So that's a concern even at this point.
No, I mean, unless they do it in the next 5 days.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, we're pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens, then it happens. There's nothing you can do. But right now, it's 28. We got 28 people. 30's the limit. You don't have to wear masks if you don't want to by their laws, but, if people want to, it's not going to be a big deal. I get it. I will not be.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I can't get fucking wedding photos taken with fucking mask on and shit.
Yeah, that seems like that would be an unfortunate.
And she probably wouldn't let me anyway. I stay far enough away from people, and I don't let people breathe on me, and I don't breathe on them. If I go out, again, hardly ever fucking go out, so.
You got a lot of theories.
You think
You
about...
got a tuxedo made out of tinfoil?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got a nice fucking tinfoil cap. I look like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
It's funny because like right now you're at like stage 2 where the president's not really running their president, it's the vice president. But like there's a stage 4 that I can't wait for you to descend to, where it's just like there's a cabal of secret people.
Well, if you think about, like, you're aware of deep fake technology, right?
Yeah.
At what point are they deep faking the president? And people think it's real. What point are they deep faking any number of people? They could deep fake BQ. Suddenly he's saying all kinds of stuff that would not fly.
Oh, you think that's it? You think people want to just have me getting like fucked by Johnny Holmes or something like that?
Could be, yeah.
Because I guarantee that's what people would do. Like,
oh yeah, it would all just be gay stuff.
Yeah, it would just be gay shit. Who's gonna try and bring me down? Who'd give a shit? You know what I mean?
It's nuts, because eventually, I mean, they have like filters and stuff, that like they take ordinary women and make them, look real hot.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time, I think, before it's on a phone and people are doing that kind of shit. Even fucking what's his name? Our guy. Why the fuck can't I remember his name? The guy who does our Photoshop.
Bob Jett.
Yeah, B-Jet. Even he was like, he did something that looked like not that bad for me, and in terms of like deep faking looking kind of crap. And I think it's just a matter of time before it's on phones and people are making shit. It's like you can make people say anything. You can make them do anything. So now you can't believe anything. Nothing is real.
That's interesting. But
the news isn't real.
The news has never been real.
Now deepfake shit
right.
In time, within the next few years, you're going to be like, is that real? Is that really the person?
So what's the answer for this?
I don't know. Tech fucked us. Remember how easy it was in the 70s and 80s? None of this shit was a concern. Nobody was wearing a mask.
Deepfakes.
The only thing you were worried about was like, oh my God, are the Russians going to get us?
Yeah.
I
wonder what the answer is going to be, man.
I don't know.
I almost wish I was 20 years older. I mean, I don't, but I almost wish I was closer to the end so I could be like, whatever. When I asked for the audience to give me a little slack, I didn't mean, I didn't want to stretch
An hour
it.
straight.
Yeah, I didn't want to stretch it that far, guys. I'm not even fired up about politics, so I don't know how we wandered into this.
No, neither am I really.
Yeah, like I don't know how we got here.
Well, I forgot to tell you though, before we get off the subject of the wedding, though, there's going to be that post-wedding letdown.
What the fuck did I do this for?
No, not like that.
Look how much pussy's out there. What am I, crazy?
So that's going to be natural. So if you see that that complacency start to go in, like that, because the magical wedding is fucking Walt Disney World. It's Dave Henning, who's that magician?
Oh, Doug Henning?
Doug Henning.
The gay mustache looking guy.
It's all that
Hello.
into one big ball. So when it's over, then there's that natural kind of like,
Oh, I have that all the time. Like,
Yeah,
it's
so-
that, like, adrenaline dump. It's like, what next?
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about you got to make sure that it doesn't happen to her.
Oh, that she's not let down.
Yeah, so you got it like
the fuck do I care about that for? Talking about me being let down.
So you got to be on your toes if you see that kind of malaise
Oh, okay.
after the post-wedding. You got to maybe
What's
keep
to
it.
look forward to?
Like,
Now?
what now? Well, I know she wants to get a house.
Okay.
Like, that'll be her next thing.
That's always fun.
Yeah, that seems really... After hearing your fucking trials and tribulations.
Maybe just do something out of the ordinary, like just put on a magic show.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Much like Doug Henning.
But make all the magic about how she makes you feel though.
Yeah, I'm like, let's make my cock disappear in your mouth.
I was thinking a little bit more romantic.
Yeah.
That's what flies as romance in the Johnson household.
Yeah.
She's changing her name.
It's
Wow.
ugly and dirty. She can't wait to change
There's
it.
a
I'm
new
like,
Johnson in the world.
I know. She's
I would love to know her, like when she
Damage.
listened, like that moment she listened, and then when that moment she was like, "I'm going to marry him."
Well, you suggested that we do a podcast together for Patreon, the wedding, the newlywed podcast. I really think you should be there for it because you're going to ask if it's just me and her, I don't think it'll be good. If you're there to ask the questions that will put me in the hot seat,
I'm allowed to like interview her.
you can say anything you want.
No, but I wouldn't. Of course, I wouldn't say anything. But the questions I think everyone's wondering. It's just like you did what a lot of people dream about. You landed a podcaster.
I thought you were talking about me at first. She landed a podcaster. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
right.
talking to her.
A podcasting giant.
Yeah, so she went from listener to wife.
Right.
That's an amazing. That's a fucking Walt Disney story, man.
It has to be surreal. I don't know if it's surreal anymore, but like at first, like she was like, "Wow, I met Sage. How weird is that?" You know. Wow, I met Princess Mitch. How just things that you hear about and then you're living it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how strange it is for
It's
her
not
now.
surreal anymore for her.
But I think some things still are. Like the wedding will be.
Yeah.
I think she'll be pretty worked up about the wedding. But when we do that podcast, yeah, I think you absolutely should be there. You'll ask the right questions.
What are you talking about? What podcast?
You said that she and I should do because I was like, we should start a podcast immediately dispensing advice on how on a good marriage.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think you guys should do a marriage podcast and like detailing your trials and tribulations, the things that you go through, advice that you can give to newlyweds, as well as people who have been married a long time.
Right.
I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, and I think that you being there, I think you'll ask the right questions, the ones that will
I
put
would
me
like to just
make me look
yeah.
like an asshole.
No,
She
not
fucking the other day she said something to Q. I was like, remember the Coke Pepsi thing? Out of nowhere, she's like, I'm not allowed to buy Pepsi. Remember that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about pop soda.
Yeah, we're talking about sodas and shit, and Q said something. I can't remember what he said, but she's like, well, I'm not allowed to have Pepsi. I can only drink Coke. She's like, he's brand loyal. I was like, what?
That was it. It was, what the fuck? How did it start? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can't remember,
So
but
you have put the foot down on soda?
I didn't think so. I wasn't aware that this was. I like Coke Zero.
Okay.
Like that's what I drink mostly, and I like
Oh, he really fucking.
Well,
he
that's
shows up to my house. He shows up with a cooler of Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Well, that says a lot though, because like it's an unwritten, like you're forbidden something unwrittenly.
I didn't even know. I didn't even say it. She just knows she's a good
So
girl.
what else is she? Does she think, so what else is she like terrified to do? You know?
I don't know. Say no in the bedroom. Have either of your dogs ever run away? I know Cooper the super dog
Yeah.
found, or Socks the super dog. Was it Cooper found Socks?
They're both super dogs at different times, but yeah, both dogs have run away.
And do you get nervous?
You know, oh my God, yeah, it's like the anxiety, the panic.
What's the longest they've been away?
Probably like 10 minutes.
Wow,
That's a long
that's
time.
good.
Yeah, it's a
10
panic. Chessie
Yeah.
was gone for 8 hours, and he got out of the house, and I was in a fucking, like, I couldn't even fucking.
Right, you can't even think.
Well, you said you saw him on your
Mind's
camera,
racing a million
right?
miles an hour.
Yeah, we woke up the next day, and like usually that fat fuck just shows up for food first and foremost, and he couldn't find him. And then I'm like, well, first you're like, all right, well, was he in a cabinet? Sometimes they'll get into a cabinet or some shit and can't get their way out because they're fucking cats. Nothing, no food, nothing. Then I looked on my security cameras, and I just saw his tail go by. And I was like, and it was like 11 o'clock at night the night before, and I was like, he was out all night. It was terrifying. Yeah.
We had on our front door, there's a screen, and then there's like a metal grating over it, but it's only over part of it, like this lower part, but not the very bottom part. And Princess Mitch sits at that door, and she looks at birds, and she thinks she's going to get them, so she'll like attack it. So the screen started to rip a little. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take that grate, I'm going to move it down a little bit lower. So I go to do it, the fucking goddamn drill needs to be charged up. So I charge up the drill, but then I forget to do it. And the tear wasn't that big. So that night, I close the door, go to bed, get up the next morning, and every morning, Princess Mitch, same thing. Every morning, Princess Mitch wants me to open the door so she can sit next to it. And she didn't come out, which I thought was weird. And so I look around for her. She's nowhere. M.Beth gets up. She's looking around for her. And that's, like you say, that's when the panic sets in. I'm like, she's just not in this house. And I open up the door, and I see that it's definitely been torn a lot more, like enough, say, for a cat to get through. And I'm like, she must have gotten out. And you don't want to believe it. You want to still think she's somewhere in the house, but I'm like, we have to face the reality that she probably got out.
'Cause you live on a corner property too. which
Live
is
on a
just
corner next
road.
to a main road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if she's not in here this morning, that means she got out last night and I didn't even notice and locked her out. So she's been out all night. Basically, it's my fault because I didn't follow up on that rip screen. And M.Beth is like, you would think, I don't think she'd be this upset if Sage went missing. She's beside herself, bawling, going to neighbors' houses, which is a big thing for her. She is like social anxiety out the ass, so she doesn't do that. She doesn't just go knock on people's doors. So I'm like, fuck, man. Like, what do we do here? Like, I never had a missing cat. She hasn't been out of the house in however old she is, 6 years old. She's never been outside by herself. So we're looking around all over, and I'm like, are we just going to randomly look? Like, she could be next door under a house. And I was talking to Q.
Yeah, that's where I
about
found
it.
Chessie. He was on my neighbor's property.
I was talking to Q about it, and he said, I'll tell you what. He's like, give me a couple minutes, a little bit, and I have a heat gun. I'm going to come down there with a heat gun that he could find her, or like look
Predator
for.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he got it to look for his cat.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, I'll see you in a little bit. But before that, I was like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put the other cat in the bedroom, and I'm going to open both doors, and maybe she'll come in. So M.Beth can't take it anymore. She takes a nap. And so I close the door to the bedroom, and I go down the stairs. And as I'm going down the stairs, the fucking cat's walking up the stairs. I'm like, I don't want, because she can be skittish, and I'm like, I don't want to suddenly move. And then she jets out the fucking door again. So I just sat down on the stairs, and I was like, psst. She came to me, and then I just walked in, put her on the bed with M.Beth, and she's like, and then she starts bawling again. Like, she fucking loves that cat, man. Like, in a way that I was like, holy shit, if this cat's dead or never comes back, like, I'll never get over the guilt.
Yeah.
We all know it's my fault because I didn't do that thing, and she fucking ripped through it.
I was so happy when that cat.
Yeah, so I called Q, but that's this close to being heroic with your heat gun.